All right, we're going to call the meeting to order, and we will say the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody would stand and please face the flag. That would be awesome. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You want to take a roll call?
Okay, Mr. Hamill.
Here.
Mr. Bruno.
Here.
Mr. Facto.
Here.
Mr. Randall.
Here.
And Mr. Karate is not here.
All right, all board members have been provided with a copy of the minutes of the last meeting. A motion will be entertained to approve and accept the minutes of the regular meeting of February 28th of 2023, providing that there are no additions, deletions, or corrections. So that would take a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
He beat you by half a second.
There's minutes here.
By Red. And
I missed all that, sorry.
all right, so the motion to accept the previous minutes was made by Sherm, and it was seconded by Reginald Facto.
Okay, Mr. Hamill.
Yes.
Mr. Bruno.
Yes.
Mr. Facto.
Yes.
Mr. Randall.
Yes. All right, addresses. Want to
just got a
speak?
quick-
Okay, so I got some of this. Go ahead.
Okay.
Pat, but
Yep.
we both did the same work, because I have printed all your stuff in my head, so I got copies for everybody. And I got a little bit more than what you have, so I'm gonna hand this out to the board members, while you start speaking.
Okay, the one thing I was going to just quickly go over, sounds like you got all of the stuff, so I don't know what you want me to, actually go over or not. But the website project report, I wanted to give an update on that. The last month has been very, very productive. From the project status report, you'll see that I estimate the completion of the website to be about 97%. And there's a lot of good reasons why. Implementation of the links are now available, so we can add links underneath each department that go to outside websites. It's its own separate entity, it's its own separate thing. I posted up for the town clerk the tax bills website for BAS. I also posted up the New York codes, billing and codes for codes and zoning. That goes to the New York State website, or the vendor that New York State pays. So that has been implemented and is working well. A complete collection of flyers, recreation flyers, and registration forms. So there's a lot of content, a lot of colorful content, a lot of attractive content on the website. Just following up on some statements that were made from the last meeting. After last meeting, I went and did an ADA compliance report, and as well as a World Wide Web Consortium site review, and found that our site is in compliance with the newest 2.1 of the standard, and also the code on the site is in compliance as well with the World Wide Web Consortium. So things are checking out reasonably well. There was a couple of things that came up, but I believe it was actually with the tool, the checking tool. I found that it wasn't picking up certain things that were actually there. So, but that's all good. I also implemented the userway widget, which from a statement was made that other sites have an ADA compliance widget. So we implemented the ADA userway widget, which is what some of the other local townships and other areas are using. A collection of uploads for the historian and the community events. So there was a 175th flyer that we made that had all the information that was given to us, as well as the article that we posted, and also a Music in the Parks flyer that was made along with all of the data that was basically given in a brief article. So those things were posted. The events and the events calendar is fully implemented. Article categorization is now complete and active. So that means when an article is assigned a category, so like recreation department, it shows up on the recreation department's page. If for the 175th article and the music in the parks article, I know that the historian works with that, so that has actually been tagged with historian, and that gets put on that department's page. So there's a lot of work there. There's a reorganization of article ordering, so that all articles are underneath the news section of the site, and they're most recent to the latest. And so all articles get posted there no matter what. Communication points. So now we have communications with all contacts on all the boards. So they know to send me meeting minutes and agendas. And also the final thing that we implemented was programmable header images. So now when you go to the department page for the highway department, the trucks show up. When we go to the page for the recreation department, the recreation, the field out here gets brought up, a picture of the field.
Yeah, I added those into your guys at the back if you want to see
So
those.
into the
those photos.
portfolio. So a lot of great work. Things are really wrapping up. And just a quick list of the issues still is there's still content to be added. I'm still waiting for some content from people. There's a couple corrections that I guess I could have posted the content, but I chose to just notify some people of some corrections that I thought should be made. Waiting to hear back to see if we want to make those or do we want to post it like it is. I also think we need to establish some standard operating procedures of who and what should be posted on like the homepage. I know there's been requests made to put stuff up or pull stuff down, and I just think we need to have some guidelines on how do we determine what should and what should be up there and what should not be up there. I don't want to do something that one group wants and another group doesn't. I don't want to be that middle decider. And then finally, we need to schedule a training session for at least a couple people to basically, so they can add their own content if they want or know how to add content if they want.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
I think that training part, you've been down here a couple different times and we tried to get to that, but it seems like by the time you get done with everything else we're doing at the time, the 3 times you've been down, we just never really got to the training part.
Right.
So I agree that needs to be done so that each individual department, whether it's the rec department or Donna, the town clerk, can post some minutes and stuff, and
Yep.
that definitely is a need. So I'll get with you to work out the details on when everybody's available
Yep, sounds
so
good.
that we can get that part done. Does anybody on the board have any questions?
Just to, Patrick, in terms of deleting items from months ago, would you just go ahead and delete them? Certain items that are.
Well, I see what he's saying, like
Sure.
if I ask him to put something up, or, Sam asked him to put something up, and then somebody says, okay, that's been up there for a while, we probably don't need that anymore. He's just looking to see probably who has the authority to actually say, yep, take that down.
To do that.
So, those are things that are growing pains, so one thing that was overlooked. And I think that would be pretty, easily resolved by this board as to who.
The one thing that I
can
do
what.
right now is I put tonight's meeting. I have an expiration of today, so tomorrow that automatically disappears
Good.
because from the front page.
Yep.
It stays in the news in the link, so it's an archive that we had it up. It's there, but it won't be on the front page anymore.
Perfect.
It's when it's like things requests that get made to be put up that doesn't have an expiration date. Who determines if they go up, and then who determines when they can come down? And I just.
Yeah, I think, like I said, that one's gonna be really easy for us to get you something. Definitely each department should have a say in when things are up or not that they've asked to be put up. Our code enforcement officer is gonna break his arm trying to get my attention. Go ahead. Howard?
Just wondering, is there a way that we could have a passcode per department? So Sam could take care of his, I could take care of mine, Donna could take care of hers.
Yeah.
Actually, yes.
And that's the only
Yeah,
way
just
get
try to
it.
address the board though, Howard, and not somebody in the audience,
Oh, I'm
but
sorry.
yeah. Like I say, that's I don't see where we couldn't work something out like that. I really don't.
Yes, so I think like, once we get training, users can, like, department heads could pull their own data off, or let me know, I just, that's the other area that it gets a little touchy, that I wanna just make sure we're doing things properly, is if I get sent something, I wanna post it exactly as it was sent, I don't wanna be touching the content, because then I've edited it, and
Right.
that shouldn't be, so.
Yeah, especially with like the historian stuff and things of that nature.
Meeting minutes or anything like, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, so.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, it was a good question to the board, yes. All right. That's it. I appreciate it, sir.
Are we at some point gonna be able to put our own up, take our own down, or get things the way we want them?
Okay, so, tell me if I'm wrong. Once we get through the training, which is the biggest part of this, that's what I would like to do. He can tell me if it's possible. That's exactly what I'd like to do is, like, even Donna, like, as far as putting the next month's meetings, minutes, after we approve, say February's tonight, she should be able to go in there and just pop those up, rather than having to contact Mr. Garso to do that. Same thing with you. If you have events that you're able to, post on there, you should be able to post those yourself to look at, to make sure that the town residents can look at those and the youth can look at it at the youth program. So, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's definitely something that we were just talking about, that we need to get each, and it may be, I don't wanna speak for everybody here, but to me, it would make sense that if we're gonna do trainings like that we narrow it down to a couple people.
So they can actually touch it.
You have a lot that has to be, as far as Sam, with the recreation department, you have a ton of stuff that is individualized and has to come up by certain deadlines and certain
Yeah.
days for registration. So I might even recommend that you and Pat sit down just whenever you can get together amongst
So
yourselves.
I emailed him about putting some deadlines on registration forms, and he told me he couldn't do that, because then next year he'd have to change the registration form. I don't get why that's,
So,
you
Okay,
have
so,
to, you can't just go in and change a date on something.
all right, so,
Technology today, I mean, maybe when I was born in the Stone Age, but, you know.
so, again, these are electronic documents that you would have to,
so
edit.
the concept behind the registration form is, the registration form is a non-changing entity. So in other words, the flyers, once a year you would update your flyers to have your deadlines and everything like that. The form is just a blank form that gets filled out. So putting dates and specifics on each form would mean that form needs to get updated. The concept that standard practice would say that you just want to have an empty blank form that can be filled out anytime, any year. So that form can be reused every year. The only thing that changes is the flyer that would have the dates, and the article would post, these are your registration dates and your limitations. We can do it any way that the town wants. It's just that would make it so that those forms are not recyclable, that they have to get updated yearly, as well as flyers would be created yearly.
but is it something that he could do as a department head? Could he go in there after,
The
the
form is in a
training.
different application. By all means, we can train him on doing that, but that's not in the website. It gets done. That's in Adobe. So the
more-
town would actually want to purchase Adobe Professional, which allows you to edit PDFs, and then you could do that. Which I believe the town can get it underneath state contract or something like that. But you need a piece of software, and then those forms get updated.
A lot of people are gonna go on there, they're gonna see the flyer, and they're gonna say, oh my God, yep, I gotta register, and they're gonna click on the registration form, and then they don't know when it ends, so now they gotta go back and they gotta read the flyer. My other question was to you the other day about, so now that the registration form comes in, people aren't sending the waivers in. So you're telling me that they've gotta send a separate waiver to match every one of those registration forms, otherwise,
That's.
that was what I was talking to you about the wording on the first part, on the registration form itself.
Your question is, you would like to have the waiver attached to whatever form they're filling out for
Well,
soccer?
no, what I
or
wanted
softball?
was on the registration form to say that I have read, I understand, and I will adhere to the waiver form. That way, to me, once they sign it, it's on them. It's now, the way it is right now, without that, the way I understand it is that they have to send in a separate waiver form. So for the 3 registrations I've been able to get, I don't have any waiver forms.
Cause they don't realize they have to fill out that other waiver.
Yeah,
But the registration
I
form
just
says,
don't see the, 3 behind that.
So I guess, is that something that we can
I don't know.
incorporate in?
I guess, so one of the questions I had a while back when that question was first asked is, what is the legality of a waiver form? Can you just say, on the registration form that you agree to the waiver form and not have the waiver form attached? Because I just know, like, for contracts in law and stuff, like, you have to have a signature on the page of which the waiver is. So my first question is, I guess, one of legals.
Yeah, so that's something that we can work out, cause if that's a question you wanna pose, it should be posed to us,
Okay,
not
yes.
directly to my lawyer,
Okay.
or town lawyer, okay, cause you work for us, not for you. Secondly, that's a question that should come to the board,
Okay.
and then we can find out that legality. But I don't wanna put our town attorney on the spot to have to answer something without the chance for him to get to research things.
Well,
And if you're willing to answer that question posed from the board.
yeah, I'm happy to answer it, because I've had a lot of experience having worked on a swim team board for 15 years or something. And the sad fact of the matter is, what Sam is describing is a problem throughout. People will not read a form. They get through the first sentence and the part that they're interested in, and they don't read the rest of it. So, to me, it's just a matter of tailoring your form so that, the form could include the waiver. So you sign once and it includes everything. Okay, so your application has the waiver on it, and you sign once and you're all done.
That's what Sam was asking for, that they only have one signature for
Right now,
the
they're separate,
the
so.
sport, and then they're also signing a waiver by that same signature.
Right.
So we can get maybe with you to get correct wording on that.
Oh, you don't have your waiver already? It sounded
He
like
has
you had.
a waiver,
Yeah,
but if he's not,
there is a waiver.
So I think you just meld the forms into a single form with a single signature at the end.
Okay, so
Yeah.
just, if I understand it, it'd be like making a very long registration, or just extending the registration form to include the verbiage of the liability in the registration form.
So people would fill out the top and then they'd sign at the bottom.
Bottom and right in
And
between.
whether or not they read the waiver, it's there.
that's what I was hitting at, that on a 11x7, I don't know if
Yeah,
he's gonna get that all on one piece of paper without going front to back or something like that, but
Yeah.
if you did have to go front to back, just make sure, maybe if that would work, they're filling out the front of it, but maybe we could have the signature on the back of the page so that they have to sign for everything at the end, and that way, like,
So just some-
attorney is
some
saying, you
details that
can
we
meld
can
them
work out.
together, but the final signature is for everything. Other, the information, they've read all this, now they're signing the waiver.
But
Does that make sense?
the flip side is I kind of agree with, your idea is that you have one form that doesn't change from year to year, and your flyer explains that this is the deadline.
Yeah.
and So that only the flyer gets changed. Otherwise, you're changing,
Forms every year.
way too much. But, that's a,
I don't wanna do something that's, gonna hurt the town, so, yeah, we'll work to just validate it. I'll send you a proposal and then, you can work with him to get it.
Yeah, I'll just forward it. to
Thumbs
you
up and-
then we'll go with that route.
So we can address it, Sam.
Sam, did you have anything else for the board?
What's that?
Did you have any other questions for us? Now I wait and give George his 5 or 10 minutes. I did have one other addressee tonight. I apologize, it didn't get onto the agenda. So Mr. Martin, if you would like to,
Hi, my name is George Martin. I'm with Think Energy. We're a brand new power company that just launched 2 weeks ago in New York, but we're also in 19 states. The big thing about this program is we're
Martin?
able now,
just make sure you're addressing
Yeah.
the board.
we're able to offer community solar, which is a huge savings for your, not only your town board, but your town residents, which means nobody has to purchase one piece of equipment to go on your property anymore. We are tied in with NICEC, National Grid. We own these big solar farms. We're taking that energy, putting it onto the grid. Customer just signs up with community solar through our website. The billing stays the same, nothing changes. NICEC still bills you every month, but we're gonna offer you 5% discount. It's off the total, you got a delivery side and electrical side. Don't think of it as dollar amount, 5%. What it is community solar calculations that's saved up through your solar connections from what comes in. Each month might be different because of where the sun is. So that could be huge for you. And for an example, we're in Maine also now, and we've seen their bills go from 19 cents down to 13 cents a kilowatt. And we're estimating ours to go down from 9 down to 4. So with it being on the delivery side as well as the electrical side, it's huge savings for you guys. And all you gotta do is so simple, you just go to thinkenergy.com/gmartin. Website comes up, you click on community solar, you click either NICEC or National Grid, then 5% pops up, they just fill out the information off your bill, it's done deal. And it's locked in for 20 years, it never changes, you're gonna get that savings. If something happens, say a year, 6 months down the road, you decide you're getting a better deal from someplace else, you wanna leave, leave. We're not gonna penalize you, nothing. It's that simple. This company, even though it's a new company, the co-founders are from past power companies that have been throughout the states, and they're the hugest power companies in the United States. And now we're giving this technology to the residents. So, people that have apartments that could never get solar, or has trees over their roofs, could never get solar. Now you can get solar without purchasing it, and get the savings.
Any questions from anybody?
Any other towns in
I'm
Clinton
working
County
personally,
have
myself
contracted?
personally, because another power company I used to work with, and we're working with all the towns from Spoon Lake all the way up to Fort Covington. I've already met with all the supervisors, and it's just a matter of it getting in front of their town boards and then set the date when they're gonna get on. I know, the next one coming up here is Blackbrook in E-Town, and E-Town's been with me for the other power company for almost 10 years. And because of what I did for them there, they're interested in this because of being locked in. Because if you look at the National Grid and NICEC websites, they're telling you your kilowatt rates are gonna go up 3-4% in the next year. So you get into this, you're locked in right now, and it can never raise.
Mr. Hyde?
Okay.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Martin, I appreciate it.
Just think of that, thinkenergy.com/G Martin. That's the website where all customers can come in and your residents can do it.
Okay.
And then the 5 cents pops up and they just fill out their information off their bill, and they're now a customer.
So, that's something that we can discuss, I'll discuss with the other board members, it's probably more, I wanted to let you be able to speak to the full board, rather than me reiterate what you wanted to say.
Yeah, since I talked to Kevin, I mean, cause this is all new for me too. I wasn't aware that it was the 5% off the total bill. So you're getting a 5% discount off your delivery, which no power company gives a discount off the delivery. We're the first to do it.
So like I said, once we got to the work session, and we'll have you back,
Okay.
and then you can address the board, and we can discuss whether the town would like to do anything with that.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
thanks for your time, I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, that brings us to the end of our addressees tonight. I have a few communications that I have received. Killing some trees tonight, that's for sure. All right, so, the board had asked me again to look into, the cell phones. This is what we ended up, Carrie sent me a new estimate after she went through everything, cause we had a few questions after the last time. It's pretty self-explanatory. Your designated SAM, the account for the internet, is $72.97. 10 phone lines at $29.99 per month. One data plan would be free because it's a new account, so they give us that one for free. So you're really paying for 9. Monthly cost on the data plan for those 10 devices comes to $269.91. Excuse me. That includes unlimited talk, text, and data. So if you bring that down below and you add everything up for all the charges, your total. The iPhones is what we looked at, which was the iPhone 11. It's definitely not the newest one on the market, but it's not the oldest one on the market. Of course, they're under, again, a government contract, so you're not going to get the new iPhone, whatever they are up to today. Yeah, 14 or whatever. But, so those were, like I said, the 10 iPhone 11s. So you'd have, $138.80 at $13.88 per one. The monthly plan, like I just went down through, was $269.91 for the data fee, and then you'd have the SMB internet again for $72.97, which brings the total cost to $481.68 a month for 10 devices here at the town. If you want, they have had really good luck working with Spectrum and getting the accounts. I know Verizon also has plans that we can look at. Are you guys still interested in this? And do you want me to get another one from Verizon to see what they say? No, what your interest are.
Now, Mike, what company are you with? You have a town cell phone, right?
Yeah, his,
Is it with
he's
Spectrum as well? Or?
but Mike's in the Stone Age with a flip phone. Okay.
Okay.
So, and his is still under Verizon. I'm just picking on you, Mikey. But yeah,
Okay.
so
I like it.
for the young kids that haven't seen one of those, there you go.
Might be dial that one?
Mikey with his phone is, he'll tell you, the service, because of the phone itself, it's not because of Verizon, it's just because the
Yeah.
phone is so old, it's very spotty, it's hard to get.
No, it's not really Verizon, it's just where I live. And
Yeah, and it's the phone. So, part of the 10 devices would be naturally getting our highway superintendent a new one and bring him into the 21st century, right, Michael?
Wow.
So,
Big one like this.
no, those are like those 14s he was talking about. They look like a mini iPad.
Wow.
But
Can I ask a question?
No, go ahead.
Please.
Yes.
10 phones.
Mhm.
I'm just thinking, I know Mike absolutely needs one.
Yep,
Howard Newton
yep.
needs one. Sam Campbell needs one. Supervisor needs one. I personally can't see councilmen having a separate, and I'm just talking about myself. I have a hard time carrying this one and keeping track of it.
Yeah.
And to have two phones, I know security wise, you know, if somebody calls, they can confiscate your phone or whatever, but you know what? I'll bet you I don't get, well, I've been on the board since January, I haven't got any calls other than town board members.
But those are all subject.
They're all subject and I agree, but you know what? If the town gave me a phone right now, it would sit on the charger, I'd check it maybe once or twice a day. And that would be the extent.
Yeah, I agree with them.
I agree
It's
with
not
that 100%.
necessary at all.
And has anybody went any farther to look into some of the other towns? Do their councilmen have phones? I don't foresee too many towns having phones for everybody.
Well, listen here, before you hammer me on this, because
No,
you
I'm
guys
not
asked
hammering you, we're just
me.
giving our opinion.
So, again, it was brought up. I told you that I would get you the information. If you feel there are less phones that are needed, or you guys feel that you don't want them, that's fine. I can get a recalculation on what it would cost for less phones. It was also addressed that, like Cliff should have one as far as our dog control officer.
Absolutely.
Yep, I would be.
For sure. Yeah.
So we're still,
That's fine,
Yeah.
but if we don't have anybody any more than that,
Mike,
More than
Howard,
Howard,
dog control.
Mike, dog control, Kevin.
Gary,
Oh, Gary, I don't think you carry two phones, I don't think you carry one.
no, I don't know. But like I said, that's something that we can discuss at a work session. Talk to everybody, find out. What I really wanted to know, so I can compare apples to apples, is do you want me to get another price from Verizon? Or do you want to hold off, scale back on what the phones are? I don't think it's gonna change much, because the data is individual. You're still getting the one phone for free here because it's a new account for up to 1 year. I don't know if having 5 phones or 10 phones is gonna change the individual cost that I just quoted you. You know, other than it will be less because you don't have the same amount of devices. And you don't have the same amount of lines over. So, that's something that we can talk about.
Can we give Mike a new one?
No, and if you cancel this, I don't get to buy anything. So, it's up to the board to decide what we finally wanna do, and how many we want. And then we can go from there.
Well, there's 3
This whole
board
thing
members
will
sitting
be,
here now, we all said we don't need one.
no, I understand, and I don't have a resolution tonight to do that.
Right.
All I was doing was bringing you the updated information. So, we can work this out at a work
I think if we
session.
sit down in a work session and figure out who we really should designate a phone to, I think we
You know
could
what?
drop from 10 to
Can you
probably
get a
5.
price on the ones that we just referred to, Mike, Howard, Sam, dog control,
Himself.
and yourself?
Originally, when I was counting, I was up to 6 already, but, just naming off what we did. What I can do, like I said, so we're not going through this is really work session stuff, but, what I can do is I can get a quote on, say, 6 phones or 7 phones. Before I even do that, I'll get a hold of everybody by email or text and say, these are the ones that I've designated that may need a phone. And then if you guys agree to that, I'll get it for that specific amount.
Okay,
Okay?
I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
Sure.
All right? Okay, you're all aware we have a CDBG grant that is being administered by Friends of the North Country. And this is for housing redevelopment. So what I have did is gotten everybody copies over the last 3 months. They'll have your name. So again, they haven't started any work on any of them. This goes, again, and this will go for February, March, or January, February, and March, okay? They have designated so far, if you look at that back page, they have 12 applications, you'll see that at the bottom. And they have one application at this time that's complete. That's as far as they've gotten so far, so no work has been done, no money has been spent on this grant. But it is important that the town keep a record of making sure that we're reviewing what they are doing, because it is definitely a town CDBG loan. They just administer it, so you have to have the overview of it. So if you have any questions with that, just let me know. I'll continue to update you. Like I said, there's nothing really new here since February, other than one application has been completed, and they still have the 12 that they've been working on since January. So there's no questions with that. As part of the CDBG protocol, is that we do have to have oversight and make sure that we're keeping a track on what's going on with that. Sam has applied again this year, and therefore the town has applied this year to the Clinton County Youth Bureau. They have given $1,700 toward the town of Schuyler Falls for its recreation program. So at this point in time, it looks like he's got his youth bureau money to help out with the recreation program. So. And that is the last communication that I had. Alright, monthly reports. Everybody's got a chance to look at the monthly report. So, I'll entertain a motion to file.
Motion.
By Reggie,
Second.
by Vern. Roll call?
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Okay, receipts. Tax collector, $89,184.02. Town clerk, $490. Morrisonville Water, $26. Justice Barber, $960. Justice Van Artwick, $2,029.50. Cash receipts, $1,000. CVPH Medical Center, Fitness in the Park. $229.05 from Ambit Energy. That's a rebate check we get from Ambit. These are all Ambits. $8.66 on another Ambit account, $95.16 on another Ambit account, $11.94 another Ambit account, and $94.15 on the last one. So we just got all those in about today. New England Waste, Scott Mel, $269.80. Phil Van Norwick, check returned. That was for $324.50. He was scheduled to go to one of his annual trainings. Because of the snowstorm, that was canceled, so he returned the check back in. He will have to go to another one. Alright, so can I get a motion to accept the receipt?
I'll move.
That is Sherm. Second.
Second.
Vern. Roll call?
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Okay, minutes of the planning board, there were none. Minutes of the zoning board dated 2/22 of 2023. Can I get a motion to file those?
Move.
by Reggie, seconded by Sherm. Roll call?
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Okay, that brings us to department, reports. Councilman?
And nothing at this time.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things. In terms of, a couple of meetings ago, we ran into an issue regarding rules of procedure. And I met with Kevin and talked to him about certain rules that we had enacted, maybe months ago, a couple of years ago, Kevin.
It was in 2020, it looks like.
But anyway, my thing is that if someone comes to a town board meeting, like, for example, I've been to several county legislative meetings, and the chair there would say, does anyone want to address this board right at the beginning of the meeting? You don't have to pre-sign, you have to do nothing. And I think any town resident that comes in here, takes the time to be here, should be able, at the beginning of the meeting, to address the board. Of course, there's restrictions as well that we have put in place for, think like 5 minutes or something of that nature. But I'm wondering if we could amend that rule of procedure to allow residents to just simply come in here, address the board. They might have children at home. They might not be able to stay here for 2 hours. And that's just something I'd like to bring to a work session to ask if I would have any support on amending that rule of procedure that we have in effect now. And I believe the town board could amend it. I think they could.
I think you can set up whatever agenda you want. So, it can be at the beginning or at the end. The majority of boards I've seen, they're usually at the end, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean.
I've checked into other towns, and quite a few, Mike, are at the beginning. And that's just, the county. I mean, we can look forward to the county. Same thing. They don't have to really pre-sign. They could come in here and address the board and leave if they want to leave. And that's just something I'd like to have
If I could
considered.
ask a question, now you're saying have them address the board before the meeting, but not after the meeting?
Actually, I would like both. Personally, I would like both because they might gain information in the meeting and then they could discuss it at the end.
Well, I've been to a number of county meetings and I don't ever remember them letting anybody just speak.
I've been to
Maybe-
many
maybe
too,
they
Sherman.
changed it. I haven't been in a
That's
while.
their
I haven't been
procedure.
in a while,
Sure.
but, I mean, for someone to come in and address the board before the meeting even starts, and so then it opens up an issue.
Oh no, we'd have roll call first.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand that, but what I'm saying is if, by having someone sign up to address the board, at least give us an idea that you're gonna ask about recreation, so that we can kinda know ahead of time, so we can have the answers for them. And that's why I think, and maybe I'm wrong, I think that's the way the county, they wanna know about it so they can give you an answer. I would wanna, somebody asks me a question, and it's right off the wall, it's like, I don't know, we'll have to get back to you. And then
Well,
it's a
I
waste
just
of time.
attended one
But
and that isn't the way it works.
I think it's I think that's a work session issue, and I'd be willing to talk about it.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah, I would
if,
too.
that's all.
I think
That's
we
all.
can do it at a work
And that's
session,
basically
not-
what you asked
not
right
a-
at the beginning. If
Right,
there would be
okay,
an
I'd
answer,
like
that'll
to
work
review it,
different.
and maybe we
Um,
could change it, maybe we could.
Yeah, I mean, right now, we do follow these, so they do have like communications like we just did, and I just got done doing the communications, we have addressed these before that, or any petitions that, if somebody really has a petition that they'd like to address this board, as long as they let us know at the beginning so we can recognize them, okay? Because otherwise, I don't know they wanna address the board at the beginning of the meeting unless I'm aware that they let me know that they wanna do that, and I don't wanna miss anybody from speaking. So that's, again, one of the reasons why we asked them to
Yeah.
give us a name and a topic so that I can say, you know,
Okay.
Mr. Darso or Mr. Martin, okay, go ahead and.
It
do
would
what
be a
you need
minor
to do.
change, that's all. If you guys would do it, it'd be
But,
fine.
yeah, I
And-
believe that this board has been transparent and clear and taken a lot of criticism over the time, as well as a lot of some support over the years by having those types of conversations back and forth with the residents, so. Yeah, let's look at that at a work session. I will tell you that we spent about 8 months getting through this. And that was adopted on August 25th of 2020, is when we first started looking at it, excuse me. And then, so like I said, this is what the rules and regulations that we came out with. It was passed by this board. Everybody, including the residents at the time, were allowed to give their opinions at open forum. And again, I have that for us. So we can go over that, look at it, and see if there's any way we can make some modification.
Okay.
And we'll go over at a work session.
Okay.
Okay.
And the only other one call I had was a resident who filed a complaint regarding this Rixon Avenue situation with unlicensed vehicles, I don't know how to describe it, but anyway, the resident filed a complaint in writing over 3 months ago, and I'm liaison to code enforcement, and I haven't heard really where we're at. I know we had talked about doing a survey of the property of Rixon Avenue to find out where the street actually existed over there. There's so many items all over the place over there, and I believe the code enforcement officer had told me that until we get a survey, I can't really go and enforce the rules. And that's where we're sitting, I believe, I guess.
Well, I don't agree with that. Okay, I'll tell you that right on the record, because we do have a street there, and it is a town street,
I
okay?
agree with you.
So-
First.
There is, we do have right of ways, and we do have boundaries that are part of our streets. So we don't need a survey to figure out where a road is, because it's already been done, okay? The survey that we had talked about was surveying the lots on the back, so that we could look for putting a turnaround hammerhead on the back, so the plows wouldn't have to back in there and push out, and then have to, again, drive in one way and then back all the way out to plow both sides of the road. Because there is not a turnaround or a big enough area in the back, so that's where the surveying, excuse me, to be the proper term, comes in, to make sure that we may have some property on the back of the town owns there that we can utilize for that.
Sure,
that thing.
I'm aware of that.
As far as,
Can I,
you know, the 3 months, sure, but just let me finish my thought, please. As far as the 3 months, you're well aware that we have been in the middle of getting from one code enforcement
course I'm
officer
aware of
to
that.
another.
Of
So
course.
I don't like the implications that we've been sitting on this, because it hasn't been that we've been sitting on it. The fact of the matter is that unfortunately, we lost our old code enforcement officer. Howard's been going through the training to get his certifications, and he has it just recently. How what has it been, Howard? 3 weeks, maybe?
About that.
Okay, so I don't like the indication that we've been sitting on our hands here, because that's not the case. And I have spoke to Howard about that personally, and that's on his list of to-do things. So unfortunately, in government, sometimes the wheels move slow, okay? I would like a lot of my projects that I'm working on to get done and snap up the fingers, but it just don't always happen that way. But it's not like we don't take every complaint seriously. I'll tell you, as a town supervisor, I take every complaint seriously. So that will be addressed, and I am sure that Mr. Newton will be working on that and give us an update to whoever the complainant was, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ricky, I appreciate it.
can I ask?
Yes, sir, I didn't mean to
That's,
cut you
that's
off.
all right.
Go
Do
ahead.
we have a deed for Rixon Avenue?
That is what we're working on. From what I understand, looking at the research, how can help with this, but Sherm was the one that kind of did some of the research. I know that, again, there's been several people working on that. Reggie went down and looked through some of the stuff down at the county to try to find that out and what properties there were. But that should be easily taken care of right here through Gary, first of all, because whoever owns those properties are gonna show up on the tax assessment. Either we own them and we're paying tax on them, right? Or whoever owns them is gonna show up on there, right here. But from what I understand, you went down to the county, and according to the county records, those are
According to
still
our-
our deeds.
According to Gary, it's the same thing. Mike, you had something to say?
Well, I took over January 1st of 2020, and I'm still going through a bunch of paperwork and the filing cabinets up there. I found something the other day on a few of the roads, not all the roads. They still may be up there somewhere. But I've been searching through the filing cabinets. And I found something on Rickson Avenue the other day. I didn't bring it tonight. I figured that's work session. I'll bring it. I'll get with Mr. Newton, as if he doesn't have enough to do now. I mean, we're gonna do our best. We do what we have to do. I'll get that information.
Does it look like we have in hand for a turnaround?
Not at this time, I'm not gonna, say too much, But
All
I
I
was
getting at is
surprised in
if
my
you find-
searching.
If you find something, I'm happy
Yeah.
to look at
Oh,
it
yeah.
and see what
Okay.
it says.
Right, and then after we find out, and that's what we were talking about, after we find out whether truly we have deeds to land at the end of that road, then I would suggest that we get it surveyed, which we kind of talked about the cart before the horse there a little bit, but that would be the next phase of that, to get it surveyed so that we know exactly where our town lines are and the property lines are of the town, so that we can make sure we stay within that and the setbacks for a turnaround.
Actually, tomorrow I'll get it down here to the town hall as soon as possible, what I found.
Okay.
So, the sooner the better.
Perfect.
Mike, would your CHIPS funding list indicate the number of feet on Rickson Avenue?
Should, yes.
It should. Okay. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, I can bring that also.
Yeah,
Okay, that's right, yeah,
it would be.
good point.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Thanks, Doug.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, highway, Mike, you got anything else that you wanna?
Yeah, well, hey, thanks to the board, they still got that loader, we're waiting on that loader. I called the other day, the last I knew it was supposed to be an April delivery, but now it's pushed back to at least June. Good things, you gotta wait for apparently.
So are you,
You know.
what are we waiting on that?
Nothing, just for him to make it,
Okay.
to get it together
I was
and
gonna say, I
delivered.
thought we had approved that.
It-
So
it-
it's just on,
It's
it's
approved,
just on their end of things.
it's
that
on
they
their
can-
end,
okay.
yes.
I was hoping you weren't waiting on something that,
No, it's their end.
okay, no problem.
But in terms of the shoulder machine, to deal with those roads we have
Yeah,
with no shoulders on them,
yeah,
you had mentioned one time about it takes several months to build that
yeah,
shoulder machine.
yeah,
Well, here it is approaching April 1st and snow will be flying again before we have it.
Well, that again, I'll get with the shared services of the other towns and
Sure,
do the best I can again, and
certainly,
hopefully
certainly,
we can,
absolutely. Good.
And the other thing with that is, it's not a real cheap piece of equipment.
no, it's
either.
not.
So,
It's a cheap,
being that
it's
we
an expensive
spent,
piece of equipment,
we're
but it's
spending,
something that'll last.
close to 300,000 on the other.
And it's a
That's
piece
why I
of
say
equipment
one of
that
the-
we can use year round.
Yeah.
For, heavy storms wash out.
Yeah.
Instead of, the
That's
old fashioned
something that-
way of,
Make sure that,
motor and,
Mike, just make sure when we start doing the budgeting for 2024, because we do have money in your unallocated fund, and we still have money that's gonna be in there for your large equipment fund. That I'm pretty sure that next year we will have no problem, so that you can order it this winter, so to speak,
For sure,
and have it for next year.
for sure. Yeah, and we're still plowing and sanding here every now and then. Of course, working on the trucks, they don't, you know, they don't stay good all the time. Yeah, they're still breaking down. You know, and we're just, we're actually starting with beaver problems already in some of these culverts. So, trying to stay ahead of them too without.
I went down and checked on the Roxy Lane, everything looks good down there.
Yeah, I've been down there. Thank
So
you.
after all those,
Thank you.
those issues
I've been
and
down there,
potential issues
I've
and all
been down there
that,
quite a bit.
I went down several times this spring and checked on that, and it looks like everything's pretty good.
Yeah, it's just been like from
I would
past-
just keep
past
an eye
practice, you
on
know.
where your hay bales are still, they have the hay bales there, and I'm sure they did that when they seeded and stuff.
Yeah.
So they didn't wash it out. You might wanna stop down, talk to them and say, hey, those are kind of an obstruction for where that water is channeling to go across the road there. Just so it doesn't back up, you know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
their grass is pretty good now down there. But so far, it looks like they didn't really change any of the water direction or anything down there.
No, not really. They did a very good job.
All right, well, thanks, Mike.
Yeah. Thank you.
You got anything for water? Okay, that's that safety and codes. You got anything, my friend?
Just basically to add to what's already been said, there are 2 other outstanding violations in the process right now. I do have paperwork on that complaint, and that is on top. I've been waiting for the snow to leave, so when we go up there and start taking the pictures to turn in, it's gonna be a true picture. It's not gonna be everything under snow. Same thing with another situation that's been asked about that I was out looking at prior to tonight. And that one is also gonna be readdressed as soon as I find out whether it's bank or if it's property owner that has.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Sure. Well, like I said, I know you've been out there working, and like I said, I know that you're at the same time you're picking up new, you're still trying to finish up some of the old that needs to be worked on in there. So, I know, I'll speak for the board, that we appreciate all what you did so far, and continue success in what you're doing in there. Back to you for town clerk. If you wanna get going. Assessor, I have nothing from him. Planning board, I didn't get anything from them. Dog control did submit a report to Mary today. He didn't submit for mileage because he didn't have a ton of mileage, so he's gonna wait for next month to see how much more he has. Anyway, such a small mileage check, so, but he did give me a report. That brings us to our attorney. Anything, sir?
No,
Oh, you're easy.
yeah,
Alright, historian, before I get going, I'll go out of order by one again.
I just have some flyers over here, they're kind of quickly put up that the next Tuesday, a week from today, is the 175th birthday, if you will, of the town of Schuyler Falls. So, not that I'm gonna bake it, so don't worry, we're gonna have a cake here, from 11 to 4. So anybody that comes into the town hall or would like to come in, it's a kind of an open house for the town historian's office, a little bit more than normal in the sense that you can have a piece of cake too.
Is
So-
that one that we got on the website yet? Okay,
No,
so,
because I just did
just got
this.
it done, so we'll get
But
that.
As long as we can get it on the website, I can provide that.
Yep. So if you wanna get with her, that way she's got one already made
Who's
up and
email?
you're not trying to make a flyer.
Just mine.
Just your, okay.
Okay,
I'll put it right up.
thank you.
That's awesome.
A week from today, the 4th of April. 4th of April, 1848 is when.
And that, like again, will be open to every resident. Don't forget, we have our big celebration in August of this year. So again, that's gonna be the big one, but it's nice to validate our town's birthday on the date, the actual day of it. So, thank you.
I'll also put it up in the events as well.
Yes. That sounds good to me. Alright, so moving right along. Alright, supervisor's time, just a couple quick updates, I'll try to keep this as quick as I can. The town website is much better than before, but in my opinion, I still need to give, to give some information and content on ongoing projects for the 2023. Pat's waiting on me for a few things. Some updates, some photos on the pictures, some mapping that I want to get him, and definitely I want to get my supervisor's MySpace up there, so to speak, where I can give a message to the town and let them know what's going on. So, again, we still need to, because we don't have a contract yet with anybody. Like I talked about, we looking at 3 different providers right now that pretty much will compete against each other. The board still has to make a decision on that. We're gonna bring this up at like I said, a roundtable discussion. I plan on holding the April 3rd work session if I can get enough to make a quorum there that night. I'd like to get that one kind of worked on, and that way I can. Everybody's pretty familiar with the updates that I gave them on the 2 other websites. We have Pat's proposal. So we have 3, and that's what we like to see is 3 when we're looking at for costs and expenditures and again what we think they can do. So we'll bring that up at the next work session. As stated last month, our IT company has decided to stop services with the town, and we are again in search of an IT firm to handle that need. I have reached out to 3 potential firms. I have completed interviews with all of them, and we'll make a decision. Again, I'd like to make a decision on no later than April 25th, which is our next board meeting, full board meeting, because we would do that by resolution, as to who that company will be. CST had agreed to stay on until the end of the month. Well, we're getting to the end of the month. So I reached out to our our previous IT provider, and I believe that he is going to take care of us for the 2 or 3 weeks that we need in the middle until we make that full decision. So under personal services, that's the easy one for me to do, just to hire him for a couple weeks until we make a decision. That way, we're not without IT services, and definitely the girls aren't without them for anything that they need or any problems that they have. So that's pretty cut and dry, and that should work. Things are still moving at a fast pace for the Morsel Water Project. Several resolutions were passed at our February 28th meeting. This has allowed us to continue successfully with the project to date. A walkthrough will be performed this week of the new land area proposed to receive the updated 12-inch main. That goes from the water tower to the Flat Rock Road, so we get that piece of pipe out of the middle of that field. So we're going to be doing that. We expect to have the final flyover completed shortly, as the snow is finally going away. We did a preliminary, and I didn't want to have to keep, even though we don't pay any more, to put them back up in the air and make them fly it and fly it and fly it. There was no sense of just doing it for nothing. So now that the snow is, we still have some in the trees. That's what they're worried about right now. But I'm thinking within the next couple of weeks, as long as we don't snow again, they're going to be able to get up there, finish the LiDAR that they need, and get those elevations to make sure that we can get the final engineering done for the Morsel Water Project. Okay, it hasn't stopped, but Laverge is working on all the way. A lot of the final engineering they're still working on right now, but they can't get specific with the elevations in some areas until that other LiDAR is done. So again, things are moving. As I said, we needed a new contract with LaBerge because USDARD had the not to go over clause in there. That has been, after we approved that last meeting, that has been sent to USDARD, and we're waiting their final acceptance and approval of that contract that we just did with LaBerge to make it compliant with the grant. Final mapping is still being prepared, like I just said, but also anybody that's over on River Street is going to see very shortly, if not this week, our archaeological study is now being finished completion, or will be finished completion. The last phase of it, phase 1, they've already done. They don't see anything that's of historical importance that, again, that would stop this project, but they're required to do digs in certain areas where they felt there may be some historical preservation issues. So you might see them on River Street looking at a couple things there. The other thing they're doing with that is they're looking at the underground, for lack of a better term, to see where that ledge is that we had an issue with there back in 1953 when they put that water line in, when they hit that ledge, and doing pretty much like core samples to make sure that we have a good understanding of what we're going to need to put that water in, and that it is a reliable, safe system for the next 75 to 100 years, because that's what that new system will take us through. I'll be happy about this one. This is Dabrowski. Alright, the maps and plans that were sent to the Clinton County Health Department for Mason Lane Water Project have been approved. The process is moving forward, and now that we have the Clinton County Health Department approval, we can put out our bids for the materials and the work to be performed on the project. After the bids are approved, we can then start the project. This is still projected to start early this year, as soon as we can get shovels in the ground. So tonight we do have a resolution to vote on to put that stuff out to bid for Mason Lane. I'm still waiting final engineering from Barton and LaJudas on the garage floor project. They are going to start their rebidding process as soon as the updated plans and mapping are completed. Or engineering, I should say, not mapping there. They are going to add into the project cost for a oil water separator system, just so we have if we got enough, we transferred a couple $100,000 this year over to help pay for that. If we have enough, I'd like to take care of that oil well separator at the same time. Update on that subject. Due to the fact our highway trucks use salt, we cannot go with a filtered system. That was unfortunate. Salt cannot be filtered, which leaves us like every other highway garage that's not on a public sanitation system, forced to use a holding tank so that it can be trucked to a sanitation facility. So if we had our local sewer line that went right by the highway department, as of right now, they're trying to stop that too, but as of right now, we would be allowed to put after it goes to the oil water separator, it would be allowed to go into that sanitary system. But we do not have anything close to getting to the town of Plattsburgh down there other than trucking it, so that means that the only viable way we can do it legally right now is to put it in a holding tank, the exact system that's at the fire station. That tank would be pumped, then it would go down to the city and be treated before that water was released. So that is what I have for my supervisor's updates.
Any comments with Dabrowski that you found out? Yeah,
Oh, okay, thank you. So, a question you had asked me probably 8 weeks ago now was why the water was off over there. I spoke to Val, and you can really thank Donna for reminding me again before this meeting tonight. But I talked to Val over there, and they had an accident where somebody had hit one of the hydrants over there, and they said that you shouldn't.
Hydrants over where?
Huh?
Hydrants over where?
Over somewhere, she didn't say it was right in front, but what she said is you should have never been totally without water, but you would have seen a big reduction in the
Totally
volume.
off for an hour and 15 minutes.
Alright, and that's what she said, cause I said, he said it was out for several hours, and she goes, oh no, that was only out for an hour, hour and a half at the most, 2 hours she thought would be on the outside. But she goes, you never should have lost water totally, because they had to reduce the pressure in the main to fix
They reduced
that
it,
hydrant.
right?
Yeah, because they couldn't work on putting the new hydrant in and doing what they had to do with the
Trying to
full
figure out why,
pressure.
because I drove where the water comes from Macy Lane down Irish Simon Road,
Yep.
around by Carm, and there was nothing out there the whole time that I could see.
No,
that
she
was
she
coming through.
she didn't give me exact spot. She
Yeah.
just said in the vicinity, which she said would have reduced. They would have had to reduce the water flow in order so they could work on that and replace
All
it.
right.
So I just wanted to make sure I give you an update on it. So thanks for reminding me. All right, that takes care of that. Finished business and new business. We just went and blew through that. So that brings us to resolutions. So our resolutions tonight are 2339 through 2344. We took it easy on you. Alright, resolution 23-39. Be it resolved that the town of Schuyler Falls Town Board acknowledges the resignation of Lloyd Provost Highway Department MEO effective date of March 13th, 2023. So we're just accepting their resignation.
I'll move.
All right.
Second.
Wow, that was quick. Alright, Sharon. And Reggie. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Thacker?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. So, Mike, let us know who you got, in the wings that you'd like to try to interview, and I'll help you try to get
Yeah.
another employee back.
I've already tried a couple guys, they're interested, but nobody's still showing up.
Do you want it in the paper again?
Please. Won't hurt.
Do you want it on the website?
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yep. Yeah, we just. It goes on, it goes off. It goes on, it goes off. That's one of
I was
those
gonna say,
timeouts, but,
it's easy to post it back up. So
Yeah.
it's an
okay. Yeah, it's hard to.
MEO.
You get people to work. Next one, resolution 2340. Whereas LaBerge Group, a duly licensed engineering firm permitted to practice in the state of New York, had previously been retained by the town to prepare contract documents for Macy Lane Water Improvements Project, which will replace a portion of the existing water main in the Macy Lane Water District. And whereas LaBerge Group has prepared the required contract documents necessary for the project, and whereas the board does hereby accept and approve the contract documents for bidding, now therefore be it resolved that the town clerk is authorized to advertise for construction bids for the project using the contract documents approved by the board, with a bid opening date of April 28th of 2023 at 11 a.m., which will give them at least 30 days. We want to make sure those are bid out for at least 30 days, because that's about a medium sized job, pretty good sized project. In the back. So, alright, so can I get a motion?
Move.
One,
Second.
Sharon. Any discussing?
Yes, just quickly on that.
You almost made it.
Okay, shouldn't we have this bid opening per se? Shouldn't we used to do this at a meeting. Shouldn't we have a special meeting where we open the bids?
Well, we're gonna do it at a regular monthly meeting, that's what I was telling you. We can answer that early.
April 28th, and must be a mistake here then.
Yeah, it has to be.
Oh, that's what,
He wanted 30 days, so
but
we wouldn't be able to actually open them. Cause our meeting is on the 25th, right?
That's why I
April
brought it up.
25th?
I did exactly what they told me to do.
That's a little bird one. I'll have to yell at RJ for that one.
It's today.
That's what I was gonna say. He might have just did a typo there. Today's the 28th, right?
28.
Yeah, so it's 30 days.
29th,
It's
30th.
gonna go in the
2
paper, I'm gonna
days.
put it in tomorrow,
That'll make it
and it'll go in probably on Friday, and I don't know how many
25th
times, maybe 2, 3
is
times.
6, 7, 8 is 3 days.
And does anything say you have to have it for 30 days?
There's nothing that says we have to have it for 30 days. There is a minimum bid. But there is nothing that says it has to go out for 30 days.
Our meeting's on the
If
25th.
everybody's on this board is willing to go to our meeting on the 25th, I apologize, Reg, for that,
Yeah.
because that's what my intention was. to
No,
open and
okay,
adjourn.
no, if we can change it,
No,
that's
I'm
fine.
glad you caught it.
Yeah.
So,
I have no problem with that.
if you're good with changing that to the 25th
Of course.
at our meeting,
Sure.
and everybody amends their document to that.
Yep.
I will make sure you get a hold of RJ tomorrow and make sure that when you can just change the date on yours anyways, but I'll just make sure he's aware.
So you're gonna do it on April 25th at the 6 PM meeting?
Yeah, unless you wanna have a special meeting and then we'd leave this the same. But basically,
Well, I have a meeting 3 days after.
our other one.
You know, why don't we change it to 25th, and we have to have a special meeting, we can vote on that on the 25th.
Sure.
Sure.
I just wanna read something else. Okay. Yeah, so we would have to do this at 6 o'clock.
6 p.m.
Cause right now it says 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know quite what he was thinking there. If that's any issue, again, I will bring that back to all of you tomorrow, okay? But he suggested 30 days. Minimum bidding on any town project is 5. You know what I mean? So we should be good there. All right, so with those 2 corrections, do we need to re-motion this, or are we good as corrected?
I think you're good as corrected, yeah.
Okay.
I put it in the discussion, after discussion was decided to alter the date to coincide with the meeting date of April 25th at 6 PM.
Change date and time. All right, roll call.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Okay. I'll figure that out tomorrow. Resolution 23-41. Whereas the New York State Association of Highway Superintendents annual conference is scheduled to be held in Ithaca, New York, on June 7th of 2022, and where, as Michael Snyder has submitted his budget, and it has been approved in said budget for this conference, be it hereby resolved that the town board authorizes the attendance of said conference and expenses will be chargeable to the general fund as provided for in the 2023 budget. And be it therefore resolved, the supervisor is authorized to advance funds for pre-registration and purchase of travel, meals, and hotel accommodations for workshop. And I get a motion on that?
Well, I think you got your dates wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This says,
Oh, 23, I'm sorry. Can we change it
Yeah,
to 23?
thanks. In June, and then it was on the 5th, and then it was, well, that's why I was trying to muddle my way through
I
that.
hear you.
It says it's the 5th through the 7th.
yeah, it says 5th through
Yeah.
7th, you said 7th.
Yeah.
Is it just the 7th or?
No.
It's the 5th through the
It is
7th.
the 5th.
So, with that correction, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Reggie,
Second.
Vern, any discussion? Alright, roll call.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Alright, resolution 2342, whereas the Adirondack Planning Forum is scheduled April 26th and the 27th at the Hotel Saranac in Saranac Lake, New York, and whereas the Codes Officer Howard Newton desires to attend, be it hereby resolved that the town board authorizes the attendance of said conference and expenses will be chargeable to the general fund as provided for in the 2023 budget. Cost is $83.65 for the registration. Hotel expenses, mileage, and meals. Can I get a motion on that?
Motion.
Second.
By Reg. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yeah. Alright, resolution 2343. Motion by, whereas the New York State Planning Federation Conference is scheduled April 16th through the 18th in Saratoga Springs, New York, and whereas Tim Aubin, zoning board member, desires to attend, be it hereby resolved that the town board authorizes the attendance of said conference and expenses will be chargeable to the general fund as provided for in the 2023 budget. The cost of this is $240. That's for the registration, meals, accommodations, plus mileage. So can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Alright, resolution 2344. Resolved that the town board of the town of Scholar Falls approves the following general fund budget transfers from WM.0909.000 fund balance unreserved, $19,000 to WM.8310.400 administration central expense for the same amount, $19,000, to cover the cost of expenses of LaBerge today. So can I make,
Kevin, is that for the water district
is that,
project?
yeah, all the WM is for the water.
That's what I thought. So now, when we get our grants and stuff, do we pay this back to the general fund?
There are some, the first thing I did today was check to see what was in those accounts. So, right now, there's 90-something thousand in the unallocated part of that money. So 19,000 will not hurt that account at all. To answer your question, some are, okay? Some of those expenses, we can go back depending on which grant that we're using and get some of that money replaced back in there. Some of them aren't, you know what I'm saying? Some of the expenses aren't. Either way, move forward with the project, that's what I was telling Mary today. I'm going to get with Nancy Costin and find out, because I believe that's the one we need to start working on out of first, because we've got that one first. The CDBG for 1.25, and then we can start utilizing the expenses out of that one. Because I believe that one's 100% ready to go. There's still 2 or 3 things that we're working on for the USDARD before we can go prior to bid. And what I want to know is, just what you said, is some of these expenses as we're moving through this project, just so it don't put us any further behind with it, if we can start utilizing some of the CDBG funds.
Okay, alright, so, okay, you'll let us know.
But to be God's honest with you, this ain't even gonna hurt that.
No, I
that
understand
account.
that, but you'll let us know, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Good question.
I'll make a motion.
Sure. I'll second. And Burn? Okay, any further discussion? All right, roll call.
Mr. Bruno?
Yeah.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yeah. So approved. Now, why I've been so befuddled for the last 10 minutes is because now I'm double thinking myself. So I'm at a query with myself. Because you kind of threw me off guard because we have did that in the past. And we opened them here. But with the Barton and Judas one, they opened them.
Yes, yes.
And I think that's what he intended here. Because they're gonna rank them for us. Because there's no way this board is gonna go through those contracts that are that thick and know exactly what we're looking at.
No, I
That-
can't, I think you're right.
That's why
Let me go get
Laverne
the sheet,
does it.
okay?
Good.
So
Can we
you
take a 5-minute
clarify? Yeah. Yeah, I'll give everybody a 5-minute break, but this is very important that we get that resolution right so that I can move forward with that. And then you kind of threw me there, Reggie, but I think that was why he had it set that way so that they would open them on that day. It doesn't, I know it says it's, the town clerk is authorized to advertise the construction and bids for the project contract. Documents approved by the board with a bid opening, and that's why I'm saying he just says the bid opening will be on April 28th, the 23rd, or 2023, excuse me, at 11 o'clock. And that's when they have to have them in for, Laverne, because there's, I don't wanna rank them, I'll tell you that. You know what I mean? I don't have the expertise to do that, that's why we hired them to do that. So we'll take a 5-minute. And I'm gonna make a quick phone call just to make sure that's.
Mike, have you been busy this one? You get away at all, or?
I don't usually go away in the winter. Bowling alley down there called National.
You have a daughter in college.
I've got a daughter in college.
Where's she going?
She's at St. Louis.
Oh,
Yeah.
law school?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, she's just a sophomore in college. So,
Cheers.
yeah, none of my, well, to be honest with you, all my kids followed me. They're all science majors. I was a chemistry major.
Oh,
When I first got out of school, I worked for Ayers for 3 or 4 years before I went to law school.
then you flipped over to law, huh?
Yeah, I initially thought I was gonna be you know, just little decisions here and there. General practice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
must be enjoyable.
That's the advertisement?
Oh, yeah, continual clients.
Yeah, you know, I've got a lot of regular clients.
If it's this tall,
Yeah, I'm at a point where basically, I don't have to take any cases on my wife. I don't think it really Yeah, for years and years, on their first Tuesday of the month, and they recently switched it.
And they might be coming up for that.
I just finished it up the other day.
Yeah, that's enjoyable.
Yeah, that's been good.
So weird.
You know, things have gone down.
So,
I think
I wonder if we could just pass this resolution and leave it after confirmation with
at this point,
the date and time.
enjoyable.
Yeah,
That's the only way to describe it.
yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you go to the same
Have to ask him, because it's gotta go in the paper too.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to know tomorrow, right? So I'll get a hold of, Ron's going to be here tomorrow. He's coming to see me tomorrow. So I'll know if it's tomorrow morning.
I would say.
Like Mike, Mike, was that paper you come in the garage or that in your garage?
So we'll just leave it the way that resolution reads for now.
See it or that there.
But then we want the other, well, then they're gonna have to review them, so it's not gonna be passed on.
If we have, no, if we have to have it.
All it just says is they'll be open though.
And then probably in May, they're gonna,
Right.
yeah,
Does that come in this black and
Does
white?
that make sense?
I think so. Because they're gonna have, like you said, they're gonna have to rank them
Yeah.
and review them.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
No.
If we would pay them to do it.
We're working one time, on a hoodie truck, I'm giving them.
No, the advertisement that he sent
I see it bouncing around.
Oh, okay.
does say the town hall.
Yep.
So, we're gonna leave it the way we just changed it to the 25th and at 6 instead of then.
Do you think maybe, just an idea, you receive them here, overnight them to them?
They may have been,
Maybe they'll send somebody
they
else.
might have been planning to send somebody else. Because they did it at a specific time. I know Ron suggested it.
So you can receive them, okay, and open them.
Yeah, I know, but I remember from the CB days, if you're down in the bull.
Sure. Here, give me your agenda. Right on it?
Bids for you.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
Do you want
I
the
don't,
copy of the resolution?
I don't mind opening them up, I don't mind putting on the record what bids we have and the amount, right?
I never.
And then it's up to us to rank them. Best practice will do, where it doesn't necessarily have to be the lowest.
Should we have these resolutions?
No.
No, because we already have a resolution that states that. But all I was worried about is that he didn't want it instead of here. But this came from here, and it says at the town hall, I would have a problem. I just don't know if he's
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
That's, I think.
Yeah, and
25th, then you don't make a decision.
no.
Decision till the end.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's fine. All right.
What are we gonna do?
We're gonna leave it as it stands. I'll call and check with him tomorrow and make sure he's got no issues with it. I don't think it's gonna be an issue.
To change it to the 25th, you mean?
Yeah, but let me call him tomorrow. That's what
So
we
how do you
did.
want me to leave this resolution?
Just the way we did
Just
it.
the way you passed it.
They'll be open on the 25th at 6 p.m. It doesn't say they'll be awarded.
No, but what if you find out that they were gonna do it on the 28th, that's a Monday, and he comes up on Monday to town of Plattsburgh?
That'd be great.
No, that's why I say I'll get a hold of him tomorrow before we send this down to the
So
paper.
we could just change the opening of the bid without a resolution?
No, but I don't think, I mean, I think you're gonna end up opening the bids and
Then
then
they're
you're gonna
gonna
wait
decide and
for-
rank them and
for
decide what one.
information from the, opening is one thing, approving them is a.
Yeah, it just says we have to open it. Doesn't, we're not awarding them.
No, I just wanted to know if they wanted to be here.
Right, no, I agree.
11 o'clock and 6 o'clock are two different things.
Yeah, I know.
No, everybody did, they were right here.
Yeah, I know. I can't answer that.
I'm going to have an 8, that's all I can think of.
He's gone.
I think it'll work out fine. Because,
I mean, if they're doing it at 11 o'clock on that day, they would've had to do it all themselves. We wouldn't even need to be here. They turned into you, but they really,
You just have
they're
to
the one.
provide
Yeah.
One right after another, right in front of me.
Oh. Alright. Okay, so I guess that puts us back on the record after our recess. And that takes care of that. Okay, claims. Not only 202300327 through 202300341. Claims 202300360 through 202300436. And then payroll claims 202300314 through 202300326, and also 202300342 through 202300359. General fund, $27,999.12. Highway, $15,491.72. Audit only, $3,724.98. Woods Mills Water, $1,912.01. Marstonville Water, $24,776.49. And Macy Lane Water, $903.24. So, can I get a motion to pay the claim?
Motion.
By Vern,
Second.
by Reg. Roll call.
I,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
and that's fine, because I would like to vote yes, but I do have one voucher that I pulled for review. Can we put that off to the side?
Okay, so I just need the voucher number.
202-300-431.
You're gonna have to go slower than that. Alright,
How
so,
about I show it to you?
right, but the board's gonna wanna write it down. So it's gonna be voucher number, let's see where I wanna write this over here on the side. 202300431.
Get that?
Could I look at it, please?
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'd like to review it before we.
Okay, understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there, you wanna see that one?
So can you make that exception?
Yeah.
Mike, if they all agree that they wanna make that exception, so it'll be all the claims with the exception of blah, blah, blah,
if
right?
they're all in agreement, yeah,
If they're all in
yeah.
agreement.
And you want just a further review of that bill and explanation, correct?
Yes, explanation.
So should we get a new motion in a second for that? Motion.
I'm sorry, I probably should have brought this up ahead of time if I knew about it.
Okay.
I
Can you
guess
show it to Mike? Mike?
It'd be cleaner for you in your motion to
So,
just say,
so I guess
pay the claims with the exception of,
that voucher number.
Yeah.
So, I guess, being that I'm asking for it, I would guess, we'll go, can I get a motion to pay the claims with the exemption of 202300431 upon, until further review?
Yes.
Now, somebody wanna make the motion to go forward with that?
Need a second?
I'll make that motion.
Alright, so that is.
Well, no,
gonna
we
be-
gotta have a new motion. and
There's gotta be a new one, that's all.
Right? Is that what you're saying, Mike?
Mhm.
I thought we were doing it as a new motion, yeah.
Yep, that's why I just
So
read it that
I
way.
disregard the other motion, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So who did the motion?
Do-
I-
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Did they have to rescind their motion? Because we did have a motion and a second.
Yeah, I guess we should.
Alright, so that was, Vern
Sorry.
and Reg,
That's
so you have to rescind it, cause you did it.
All right, I'll make the motion that we rescind the motion that was made for all of the complete claims, and one will now be under review, which is 2023-00431.
Second.
Which was the second and the other one. Good. All in favor? Or do you wanna do or do you wanna do a roll call on that?
We could do the roll call, that's what
You
we
usually do a
usually
roll
do.
call.
Okay, roll call.
Just
on the rescind.
just a quick discussion, when do you plan on doing the review, at a work session or?
Well, no, actually, we're gonna contact that company and ask them
Oh,
when the
okay,
earliest they could do it.
okay, that's,
They won't, unfortunately, won't be able to get paid until April 1.
understand, yep, fine.
Okay. So, I guess.
You
we'll
guys
do-
definitely agree with me, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so that would be the roll call on the
Let me just
rescind.
write. So Mr. Bruno's rescinding the motion that was made to approve all claims, and the new motion for all claims with the exception of that number, right?
Right.
And then you seconded it
Yes.
for review. Okay. Okay, Mr. Hamel,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno.
Yes.
Mr. Facto.
Yes.
Mr. Randall.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm not. Perfect. Alright, that brings us to public forum. That's a rarity.
Well, I got here late, so I'm willing to go last. I mean,
He answered mine already.
oh, okay. I have questions and comments. So just a comment, this Thursday is actually the 4-year anniversary of the Albany site getting attacked by ransomware. So the mayor of Albany came to the office and their webpage and records were all encrypted and they were under a cyberware attack. And today when I opened up the webpage, it still says not secure up in the address. So that's something you might want to consider. I do have some more webpage questions, but it made me think about general procedures, like when you're hiring a new contractor for goods or services for anything, is there a procedure in place? Like if you already know the contractor and you've been working with them for 10 or 20 years and you renew a contract, you know what you're getting, but when you get a new contractor, is there any procedure in place to see if that company has liability insurance, if they have a rating with the Better Business Bureau, things like that? And if there isn't a procedure like that in place, do you think it would be beneficial to have something like that, like a checklist?
It would depend on what you're talking about for a contract. I mean, some of the stuff is like simple contracts.
Right, but for some of the things
I
you're
mean,
taking on goods
do
and
we ask
services.
that for like our paper company that gives us, we buy paper supplies for and things of that nature, even though we have a contract with them? No. If it was on, a water project, yeah, absolutely, we would, those are all terms and agreements that.
Okay,
things
so you
that
do
we're-
check on things like if the company's actually licensed and has liability insurance?
The what?
You did actually check on our webpage designer to see if they're licensed and have liability insurance, because it sounded today like he was making decisions about legalities of forms to post or not. In other words, it sounded like he was making decisions for the board, whether to post a particular form, whether he thought it was legal to do so or not. So have you checked on whether they have liability insurance, whether they are licensed with the state, like I brought up months ago?
I think that's exactly the opposite of what he
Yeah,
said.
what
He
happened?
didn't want to make decisions about legalities.
Yeah, I was thinking that he should just give it
whatever is given to them to post, they should post. In other words,
No.
it's something that, you know.
No,
No.
that isn't at all what he meant.
Or what he said.
No.
No, what I said was, I'm agreeing with you then that, yeah, if you say, here, please post this, it should get posted, like you should have done the due diligence already, you know, assuming that a form is legal, that should have all been cleared already, so he shouldn't be holding up something saying, oh, you know, I didn't know whether I should post it or not. I'm just saying that, you know, given the give-ins, have you checked to see if he has, my question is, have you checked to see if his company is licensed with the state and does it have liability insurance?
We haven't even decided whether or not, what company will be staying with what. Because you're talking about a company that's applied for two different things there. If you have specific questions like that, like I've told you in the past, I'd like you to write them down. I will try my best to get the information that I can to you. But off the cuff, if you're asking me stuff like that, I don't think it's fair to do that to this board, and I don't think it's fair to do that to an individual that was just here.
Oh, no, it's not off the cuff. I brought it up 6 months ago, and then I brought it up 2 months ago. Like, do they have a license with the state, and do they have liability insurance? But I'll put that in writing. Could we post the procedures for the board meetings on the website so that everybody can see how it works, like the rules that you were talking about? That would be something that I think would be beneficial to post on the website so the general public knows the rules of the meetings. Like when I came to my first meeting, I didn't know, you know, when you're allowed to talk or anything like that. Having those procedures posted in public, I think would be beneficial. Is that something we can post on the website?
I don't think that the board would have an issue with that, and it's
Good.
something that we can discuss at a work session.
That can't be done right away because we're gonna be discussing, changing the agenda in our next work session. So it's not gonna be something you can give them information on right now.
And you mentioned that there's 3 proposals from 3 different companies. I know the present company and Northeastern, what was the third company?
As far as what?
The 3 webpage companies that are going to submit bids or proposals, you said.
Right, and the councilmen are looking at those as well as I am right now.
I was just asking, what's the 3 names of the companies? I couldn't recall the name of the third company.
Well, I don't have that folder right in front of me either. I got the IT folder, but I don't have the website folder. So, it was North Shore, Northeastern, and they were really close. What was the other one? North. Send me an email. I'll get it for you.
Okay, then,
Salt Lab.
you
What
said,
was it?
Salt Lab. SUTL. Salt Lab.
I think that's what you.
Was that what it
I
was?
believe so, Kevin. I haven't got a reader with me.
Yeah, I don't either. It sounds about right.
so you said you currently have 3 proposals that you're looking over. Do all of the board members have those proposals to look over?
They've got every proposal that I've got.
All the board members have that information, that's good, good to know. Okay, appreciate that. And then, do those companies know, and this is more a general question about how bidding and things take place, I guess. Do those companies know what you would like to have in the webpage so that they could do a proposal based on your wants and needs or town's like wants and needs? In other words, do they know to say what they're proposing? In other words, if you're coming into that and trying to do the best job for you, have you given them the information they need? In other words, if it was me doing it, I would say I would want a robust webpage that's secure, is compliant with ADA, and also be able to host securely the town records, the town email addresses, have them all be FOIL compliant, et cetera, et cetera. In other words, did you let them know your list of requirements so that they can make a proposal to address all of these?
They have standard proposals they send to us, yes. We will work out all the details of what we expect them to do. But they're pretty standard as far as what, like they say, your ADA compliance. What I would like you to do, so that we're not holding everybody up here for 50 questions that most of
That was my last
it we've answered and you've asked several different times, okay? if you can write those down for me, Mike, I will try to get you the information. Okay? Rather than just keep going on and on for the question.
Send them to me, I'm the freedom of information person, and then we will get the answers.
Yeah. Unless you had something different on a different subject.
I appreciate it, just getting the word out there because the webpage is important and moving forward, I mean, no matter how much we try to resist moving forward, that technology is important, that technology is gonna be driving everything in the years to come, we have to, you know.
I don't think
get on
anybody's
board
trying
with
to
it.
resist getting anything done on either one of those two topics, whether it's IT or the website. We're just trying to work our way through.
Alright, one last brief question then. What's the advantage of going with one person instead of two office company that has a dozen employees that has 100 municipal web pages?
Well, actually, I don't make that decision, and I don't know if there's any advantage to going with either one. I mean, I'm sure that anybody in this room can come up with pros and cons for either side of that issue. So I'm not gonna debate that with you here on the floor, but like I said, it will be a full board decision, whatever company we decide to eventually go with.
Yeah, I was just trying to see your point of view, I wasn't trying to debate, I was legitimately asking like, what's the advantage of going with one person versus 12 people? You know, like one person could go to the hospital, one person could get hit by a car, you know, if you have 12 people and 2 offices and 100 municipal web pages under your belt, you kinda feel comfortable that you know you're gonna get done what needs to get done. So I'm just asking, what is the advantage of going with one person? There must be some advantage, because we're still doing it, this is 15 months later. This is 12 months, we were told it would get done in January. In January, we were told it would definitely be done by February. In February, he came in and said, I'm gonna work on it all weekend, it's gonna be up and running. It wasn't up and running. We're now 15
Okay,
months
so let me stop
into
you
it.
there before,
Yep.
because first of all, I need you to understand one thing. When you speak in here, if you're going to be speaking, alright, you need to definitely identify whether that's your opinion, so that, because I'm trying to start something off here, okay? Before you go too far, alright? You have to, because you do serve on a board down here, okay? You're gonna have to say that these are your personal opinions, not the opinions that could be misconstrued as the town's opinions.
I'll start
Okay?
doing that.
And it's a very fine line, I'm just letting you know, that you're walking right now, where I will shut you down totally, okay? So, I can't no more than ask you very nicely, Mr. MD, to please address those specific questions to me. I will do everything in my power to get you the information you need until you feel you're satisfied. So, on the public record, I would just, again, warn you to be very specific if you're saying stuff like that they are personal opinions and not none that is connected with the town or this board.
Fair enough, for the record, all of that is my opinion as a citizen. It has
Okay.
nothing to do with being associated with the town.
Alright, so please, like I said, do give me that list, because it's multiple.
Okay.
And we'll get you a copy of this, because I'm very fair for the most part, and there is a time limit that we even allow. Because in the good faith interest of getting the meetings done on time,
Yep.
and for the poor public that's sitting here that are trying to get home, you know, we try to keep most of the stuff to a certain timeline.
Yep, that's why I said I
think
was
I've
willing to
been
go
very
last,
fair
so
with it.
anybody could leave.
Alright, okay. So with that, let me ask for an adjournment of the
Is there
meeting.
anybody else?
If there's anybody else. Is there anybody else that has anything else?
Sir, when is your next meeting?
That's a good question, Howard, because I usually announce that, don't I?
Said earlier.
No, 25th, 28th.
Yeah, but I gotta get the work sessions too.
Okay, want me to do it?
Sure, go ahead, because I just lost my last sheet of paper.
At at 6 p.m. Work sessions if needed, 4/3, and he said he was gonna have one on Monday, 6 p.m., 4/17, on Monday at 6 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking that question. Anybody else?
I'm
Yes.
looking for volunteers for April 29th. See me as you go out.
Okay.
Is that the cut cake?
Yeah,
No, that's to clean historic markers. It's National Historic Marker Day. I forgot to
I'll
say
be
that.
cut cake.
I'll help you eat the cake.
I'll eat the cake on the 4th.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, seconded by Sherm.
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye, aye.
Like you're buying your employees lunch and shirts, like you're buying the cake. Yeah. Tell them to get them lunch.
I gotta get one. Some training here
I'm not coming down.
on the 12th.
Yeah.
What's that?
We can have some training here on the 12th.
Yes.
I was kinda wondering about that. Nobody knows that. Last
Yep.
fall. Usually it's like November, December.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so, yeah, that's our annual sexual harassment
But it can go
training.
be on the video, internet, too, right?
If-
We can do
He's
it.
gonna have it on a link, so if you're not able to show up here and you wanna do it from home, just let me know so I can give you the link.
Did you shut that off?
Okay.
How's Sandy doing?
She's still not.
How are you?
How you're-